Hey guys, it's Taggy. Skill issue. This is going to be phase one only. Lura. This is obviously for our team here at Skill Issue, but you're free to use this if you like what you hear and want to do what we're going to do. So, just a brief overview of the fight. And for the people who aren't in our team, we have not done this fight on Heroic more than like 10 pulls on like a meme night. So we haven't even killed this on Heroic. So if you're like us, you don't raid a lot of hours every single week, you don't like putting together things on off nights, because that's just not something we do with like extra time play outside of our 6 hours a week. And you have yet to even get AOTC for the majority of your raid team outside of people pugging it on your team. Uh, this is probably going to be a little bit more in depth and cover some things that are heroic based. But just because our team hasn't actually ever done this before, kind of have to go into a little bit more detail. Um, so order of events for all of phase one. This is going to happen 3 times total. Immediately starting off with kick ads. As soon as the kicks are done, we go into crystals. We kill crystals, we heal crystals, we get them up, we pick them up. Shortly after that, Glaive shootout, and then we get our first memory game. 1 and 4 is done by a tank upstairs. 2 and 5 is done by red realm by a healer, and blue is done by a healer, also in the blue realm. So 1 and 4 tank, 2 and 5 healer in red realm, and third is the healer that's in the blue realm. And then we get a beam, and then we're going to repeat this 2 more times, except there's only 2 beams in the entire fight. So after the last memory game is when we go into the intermission. There will be phase two intermission combined video once we get closer to that on Prague, but this is definitely the most difficult part of the fight, phase one. And then there will be an additional video for phase three and phase four. So, real quick, going over some very basic things that everyone needs to be aware of. Glaives really only have 2 spawns. Tank positioning of the boss is always in front of one of these pillars around the room. There are different size pillars, but that's fairly irrelevant. We don't really care. We just need to be tanked in front of a pillar with the boss pretty dang close to the pillar. Like I said, there's 2 spawns. This is spawn 1, where it spawns basically face up with the pillar. And this one is probably the most dangerous spawn set you can get. Real quick, the spawns are RNG. It's not if you get this spawn, then you're guaranteed this spawn next, or vice versa. You can get an entire phase one of spawns like this. You can get an entire phase one of spawns like this. It's completely RNG. There is no way to game it. But the reason why this spawn set is so dangerous is that it will fire at 1,000,000 miles per hour against this pillar. As soon as it hits a wall, it slows down tremendously, but it will bounce and go straight through the boss and through the raid. This will be calmed every single time, especially as I get more comfortable with the fight. But you need to be aware when I calm like through boss, it's likely, like especially when they're spawning, it's bouncing off and coming right through the boss this way. The second spawn set is a lot less dangerous unless you're playing out here on the sides, which really no one should be. They're going to bounce against the wall like this, and then they should shoot off sideways like that. A lot less dangerous. I will need your guys' help in telling me how much you guys want me to call Glaives. Especially once we get into Prague and people start getting more comfortable with them. I'm cool with overcoming it. But if it's annoying to you guys, then I can chill out on those comms. Tanks, just make sure you're always at the pillar. That's the biggest thing here. And Glaives are a huge reason why we will wipe on this fight. Again, phase one is the most difficult phase in this entire fight. We really, really, really need to understand well. Memory game. Boss, again, tanked against the pillar. It always goes clockwise, so it will always spin this way. Just like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Orientation has to be done like this, but you have flexibility. So if like 1 or 2 are standing next to each other like this because there's a glaive that got close to 1 or whatever, that's completely fine. You can go backwards, like super far back, and it'll still hit you first, right? You can go left, you can go right. Going forwards and backwards is definitely better than going left and right, especially if you're 5 or 1, because if you pin yourself against the wall and a glaive is bouncing, you give yourself less. You basically take away 180 degrees of dodging, right? So if you're 1 and 5, one of the things I would recommend is don't pin yourself up against the wall. It's you give yourself less room to dodge, um, and you just have to be aware of the people around you. Uh, I think that's kind of about it. When it comes to the memory game, there are some things you guys do need to download. Uh, so if you do the downloading correctly that we're about to go through, this is what it's going to look like. This is not what you want it to look like. Instead, what you want it to look like is you go to preview lure runes and you're going to get this. Okay. What you have to do is I will be putting a file in the spreadsheet. You need to export those files after you download it, and it will be these 5 notepad files. And then you need to go into your retail interface and make an icons folder if you don't already have one. I can't stress this enough. Listen if you aren't paying attention right now. It has to be in all caps. Icons has to be in all caps inside of your interface folder, or this will not work. Once you have done the download successfully, you will have to hard restart your game. Reloading, logging out, logging back in won't work. You actually have to like completely quit out of the game, and then this will now show up correctly. You can also do other things like changing the background color of this if you want to. If you don't like the background color, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole video by Reload that I'll put in our channel if you want to do it all. For all tanks and all healers, this next part is for you. Create rune macros. All you have to do is click this and then go into your macros, and you should have new macros made. And it should be these ones that are all called NSRT. They should be 5 in a line. And all of you have to make these keybinds. Find keybinds to make it work. It is absolutely mandatory that you do, and you figure out which ones. So you need to probably be practicing while you're just hanging out in the Silver Moon, just hitting these and getting used to like hitting these buttons and knowing which one is what. When you grab these, the icon's going to be weird because that's the icon that this replaced. But when you do put it on your bars, it's going to be, in this example, the blue T, right? So please do that as you need to, and we'll make sure we set up the groups as needed. The last thing for everybody in the raid is this interrupt weak aura. This will also be in the channel or in the spreadsheet. There's a hyperlink to the interrupt kick part of the assignments already. This will tell you, obviously, the cast bar of the one you are kicking. And this yellow box can be 3 colors: red, yellow, and green. It's red when it's not your kick. It's yellow when it is your kick, but the cast has not started yet. And it is green when it is your kick and the cast has started. It works like old weak auras. You can manipulate them and move them individually wherever you want them to go. Very important that everyone has those. Tank healers, make sure you have all of these macros. No one else needs these macros except for the tanks and healers. Everyone else can ignore that part. Beams. So beams, and this will be better shown in a video that we'll watch here in just a second. There will always be one beam that spawns close to the raid, close to the boss. We will move through it, and then we will follow the beam. Okay? And again, when we watch the video in a second, it'll make more sense. Crystal holders. We are still deciding on who is going to be our crystal holders, but there's a good chance that all throughout Prague, the crystal holder's gonna die, and you're gonna have to replace them. So you all need to understand this as well. There's 2 things that you have to get comfortable with: dropping a crystal before the memory game beam goes off, not the actual icon showing up, but for the beam to hit all the icons, and 2, holding it during the memory game and letting the beam from the memory game hit you, which is going to spawn soaks. Now, why would you do scenario 1? There are not any glaives around you, and that's kind of it. It's like the only mechanic that you have to dodge is glaives bouncing around you. You can drop your crystal before the memory game, so that way when the beam hits you, it won't spawn soaks. When would you do 2? In the opposite situation. Glaives are around you. It's dangerous. If the glaive hits a crystal sitting on the ground, it immediately blows up the entire raid and we wipe instantly. So it's safer for you to hold your crystal, let the beam hit you, and spawn soaks. If you drop it, you have to make sure you drop it in a spot so that Glaives won't go through it. Again, that goes back to if you are worried about Glaives hitting it, you just play it the second way. If you play number one, you have to drop it before the beam reaches you, and then you'll pick it up instantly after the beam is done hitting you. You have to get your circle that is around you away from the crystal 2, which I have in right here. So notice his blue circle from his icon is not within the crystal, right? That is what we want to do. If you overlap this blue crystal, your blue circle inside this crystal, it's going to blow up the raid and we are going to die. It's going to be super important for the people that do get this assignment to let me know if you're comfortable doing it really quickly. We're trying to go off people who were really good at Halandras bombs or Fire Axe seeds in the past. This carrying this crystal does put a dot on you, so healers, they will need more love. But we need people to learn how to do this quick for us to progress this phase quickly. Again, if these get hit by a glaive, either by on the ground or while you are holding them, we blow up. So it's not just if you, so also if you currently are holding the crystal, you will kill everyone. There will be 6 of these throughout the entire fight. 3 spawn from the first set of crystal spawns. Last 3 spawn from the second set, and then on the third set of crystal spawns, it's just 9 DPS crystals. None of these Dawn crystals for us to pick up. If you're not a DK, you can skip this next couple minutes probably. Zess, Wumbo, and Thick. There will always be a cluster of 3 crystals that spawn together, and it will almost always be under or very close to under the boss. The way we're going to play it is Zess, you'll play on what would be your right side of the boss. Wumbo, you'll play on what's on your left side of the boss. And Thick, you obviously have to play so you're back towards the pillar. I'm trying to do it from like what's within your line of sight. Zess and Wumbo, if it's easier for you guys to swap your assignments, just because Zess is probably looking this way and Wumbo's probably looking this way. From a camera perspective, you guys are free to do whatever you need to do. I'll trust you guys to figure that out on the fly. But it would go like Thick grips this guy, Zess grips this guy, Wumbo grips this guy, and then we all just massively DPS them down very, very quickly. That is the first 2 spawns. The third spawn will have 9 crystals, and it will still have a 3 stack, but then it can have a stack of 2, 2, and then 2 solos, or it can be, any kind of combination you can think of. This will be a mass grip from Thick. So essentially how we want this to work is anything that's a solo by itself. So let's say like these 2 are solos, but then we have like a double cluster here and then a double cluster here. We would want to grip in these 2 solos and then mass grip all of these together from Thick. Okay. This will probably take some pulls to get used to. Again, I'm going to trust you guys to communicate as we prog to figure this out. That's it for all of phase 1 raid plan. So let's go through what this looks like actually in practice. Boss gets pulled immediately into interrupts. In the spreadsheet, there will be a number of macros, along with are you kick 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you're kick 1, there is a specific macro for you to use. You have to change out. I think it's based off of the Hunter interrupt right now. You'll have to obviously change that out. And then there's a full explanation in there, but essentially where it says like boss X, you just have to replace it with the boss you are doing. So, and it's based off of these boss frames. So Lura is considered boss 1. This termination matrix is 2, 3, and 4. Okay. The first interrupt person, you have a very specific interrupt for you. The second interrupt person in the order, you also have a very specific interrupt for you that is different from 1 and from the 3rd and 4th kicks. And then the 3rd and 4th kicks, you guys have the same one as one another. Okay. One of the things that can happen if you do not immediately make this your focus, because that's what the macro is going to do for you, it's going to make it your focus target and then allow you to kick it easier using the little weak or interrupt that I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. Let's say this third boss 3 dies and now you just have 2 and 4. Well, 4 is going to become boss 3 now. So, and they should all die relatively at the same time, but one is eventually going, like the way it's going to work is they're not all going to disappear at the exact same moment. So you need to make this your focus pretty damn quick. Okay. More so important for the 3rd and 4th kicks to make sure that they have this done than the 1st and 2nd, because the 1st doesn't do it. we're going to blow up and die. If the second doesn't do it, we're going to blow up and die. And there's no way that we kill one of these, get 4 interrupts off before the second kick of a fourth or third different one goes off, right? So we get these kicks. As soon as all of the kicks are done, all of these crystals spawn. You'll see that 1, 2, 3 spawned in melee, and now they're gripping all of these ones in. And then the healing crystals, there will be a rescue life grip assignment set up for how we're going to do these. And they get healed up and they get picked up by their respective assigned people immediately. Now we get Glaives, which healers these first crystals. You have about 10 seconds or so to heal these up before these first Glaive spawns. If you're unable to do it, and there will be a scenario which I'll show you later in the fight, you have to stop healing them until it is safe to heal them, because if these Glaives hit them as they are able to be picked up, we wipe. Now we go into Memory Game. He's in Red Realm here. He is not a healer, so he is not going to be doing the macro pressing. It looks like the healer that's with him is whoever Ruler is. He is going to be the one pressing this macro. Upstairs, it's the tank doing 1 and 4. This healer, Ruler, will be doing 2 and 5. And then there's also a Blue Realm, and that healer in there will be doing the third one. When you get split into realms, there's 10 people that are going to stay upstairs. There's 5 people that are going to go to the red realm, and 5 people that go into the blue realm. The way the memory game works is 5 people in the upstairs realm will be selected. It's really 8 of 5 people will be selected, or sorry, 5 of 8 people will be selected, because the tanks can never be selected, and both of them are still upstairs. If you are in the blue realm or the red realm, you are guaranteed 100% you will be selected for the memory game, because it's a memory game in all 3 phases. The upstairs phase has a memory game, the blue phase has a memory game, and the red phase has a memory game. The good news is it's all the same combination of icons, but 15 people have to do this successfully while also dodging glaives. The other thing too, healers, it's 1 healer in the blue realm, 1 healer in the red realm. You obviously can only heal the people in your phase, so be prepared accordingly. So we get these icons. This will be the easiest memory game of the fight, because it's the least amount of glaives and the least amount of crystals. Now, as soon as this memory game is done, we all need to get back behind the boss immediately, because beams are going to spawn. And a beam spawned to the left, and it's going to the right. They're all going to move through the beam, and now they're going to follow it. We will do the exact same thing. If by some accident the crystal people get hit by this beam, there will be 2 immunity people each assigned to catching these soaks. It really only can be immunity people, because the beam behind us is going to catch up to us. And then the last thing about this movement is tanks. This is the pillar that we are at. You are only moving 1 pillar over in the direction we go to. This was the very next pillar over, and that's where we stop. And now we're repeating phase 1. So we get the second round of kicks, do your macro, do your thing. And we're going to get second crystal spawns. Again, 3 spawned right here. And then we have 2 here, 1 here, and that will make 6. More healer crystals are out. If these healer crystals get hit by a glaive and they haven't been healed to full, nothing happens. It's only once they get healed to full, bad things happen. So you'll see this glaive goes through 2 crystals that haven't been healed yet. Nothing happens. It's only once they're 100% health, something happens. Now you see this glaive is going to come through. This is about at 100% health, HP. They have to pick that guy up immediately, or they were going to wipe right there. This is a huge wipe condition of the entire fight. Specifically, as soon as you top them up, a glaive is about to hit them. So whoever is our 4 through 6 crystal soaking people, you have to be very, very quick to pick these up. If we're not, we're going to wipe probably more than once to this kind of a scenario. Second glaive spawn. Now things are really getting fun. And we go into a memory game. He stays in the upstairs phase here. Multiple glaives going around. And then this is what we talked in the raid plan of, you have to decide what is the safest thing for you to do as a crystal holder. So he's holding a crystal, and watch his buddy that's going to go to the first position here. They drop their crystals. They get their blue circle away from the inside icon of their crystal, and then they immediately go and pick it back up once the beam hits them. Okay, that's what we have to do. Now we get beams, we step back through, and now we're going back the other way. There is no rhyme or reason. You can go the same way twice. You can go one way, then the other way. It's not set. You always move right first, then you always move left first. It's completely RNG. And now we're going to go back to the first pillar we just started at. Do kicks again. The only difference in these kicks is there's not going to be healer crystals spawning out of them. So this is the mass grip crystals. Again, we get 3-ish kind of together here, 2 here, another one here. They're going to grip them all underneath the boss, and then they're going to get a mass grip to get everything in. Despite what I know Max said, we will be running 3 DKs. It trivializes the fight. It's less things for people to think about, along with everything else that's going on in a very intense phase 1. So no matter what happens, it's always going to be 3 DKs for us. Make sure all of these things die. This is a 2-minute crystal set, so I know this spawns about 15 seconds in. 2-minute CD people do need to hold CDs for this. This is a wipe condition of the fight of not having enough DPS to kill all these things. So if you're a 2-minute DPS class, 3rd crystal spawn, you're holding CDs for it. Which reminds me, the 2nd crystal spawn, the one that spawned the last healing crystals that we get, there are no CDs except for 1-minute CDs at that point. So it's kind of everyone has to hard swap and actually kill. You don't hit boss and then cleave onto them. You actually need to be targeting them. Now we go into Glaives, and then we'll do our last memory game. It's only 3 memory games, 3 Glaives, 3 crystal spawns. Basically everything is only 3 times in phase 1 except for the beam rotation. We do our last memory game. Do this correctly. Side note too, Sprocketmonger-esque is kind of like this rune table. You need to make sure that you're putting it in a position that you can easily see this when you get it. You know where it's at immediately so you can reference it. We can't do like what a lot of people did on Sprocketmonger, where unless it was called, they had no idea where to go to pop a mine and like their priority, right? You have to have this easily viewable somewhere you're actually going to look so that you can reference it and know where you need to go. So if you look back here at this 3rd icon, the triangle icon person, he is deciding to not drop his crystal, probably because this glaive is close by, and he's going to get hit by the beam while holding it, and 2 circles are going to soak. That is completely fine to do. Do not think for a second that you have to like always drop your crystal. Okay, that's the 2 different conditions we talked about. The other thing I'll mention about these soaks before we end this video is there are people in 2 other phases that you cannot see. So if you see these circles like this, but you don't see a person inside of them, that means there's someone in another phase that is inside the circle and is soaking them. And then obviously if you see it like this, no one is inside of it, right? I know there's a lot to go over here. It's a very intense fight. I will try to finalize crystal holder people as soon as possible so people can start looking into and like having some mental games internally about like, hey, if this happens, then I do this, but if this happens, then I do that, so that you can like have those kind of mental reps and have kind of taken some time to make decisions on what you're going to do with things. Again, if you are given the 4 through 6 crystals, you have a very quick job on a lot of pulls that you need to be ready to do. And yeah, lots of weak orders and download stuff that has to be done for this fight as well. Please make sure you get them done. I don't want to be wasting time in the raid getting people the correct icon packs and all that other stuff. So I think that is it and everything that I wanted to talk about. The rescue life grip stuff still needs to be assigned. The individual defensives for early prog, there's a burst of damage when the crystal kicks are done and they all spawn. There's a little bit of damage during the memory game. Specifically, healers have something that they need to do, so we need to help keep ourselves alive by allowing them to do their job and therefore probably doing less healing. And then I want to really emphasize that it is okay to spawn soaks if you're holding a crystal um, during memory game because you don't want to drop it because you're afraid of a glaive. It is completely fine to spawn soaks. Do not listen to other guides that are like super anal about you should not be doing that. It is completely fine. So, all right, guys, that's it for phase one. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in raid.